it's Molly. In this video, we're diving into the 4 skills future leaders need to survive. Spoiler, being human matters more than ever. Let's go.
When we usually think about artificial intelligence, um, we picture a helpful little tool.
Right, like a digital assistant or something.
Exactly. Maybe it's something that, writes a polite email for you or fixes your spelling mistakes. It's just a tool.
Right. Well, that's how it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But imagine you walk into work tomorrow, you log into your computer, and it's not a human who tells you what to do.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's a scary thought for some people.
Totally. The machine is planning your shifts.
Yeah.
The machine is like giving you feedback on your performance. It's deciding if you get a promotion.
It sounds a bit like a science fiction movie. But this is the reality we're stepping into right now. AI is moving from being a tool we use to a system that actually manages us.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, our mission is to explore a stack of articles from the March-April 2026 issue of the European Business Review.
We've got some fascinating stuff to cover today.
We really do. We're taking all these different sources and answering one massive question for you today. And that is, what skills will future leaders need?
It's the big question right now.
Right, because honestly, if the AI is doing the scheduling and managing the resources and, reviewing the staff, okay, let's unpack this. What is a human manager actually supposed to do all day?
Well, the short answer is that the whole nature of leadership is fundamentally changing.
Changing how exactly?
We're moving into an era where leaders won't just manage people, they're going to manage the machines that manage the people.
Wait, lead a machine? You don't lead a laptop, you just turn it on. What does that actually mean in real life?
Yeah, I know it sounds strange, but it means developing a completely new skill. And the sources call this AI literacy.
Okay, AI literacy. Let's dig into that.
Think about it this way. If a human manager makes a scheduling mistake, you can ask them why they did it.
Right. They can just explain their reasoning to you.
Exactly. But AI systems, especially the large language models we use today, they don't think like we do. They're basically giant pattern matching engines.
So they just look at past data to guess the future.
Yes. They look at vast amounts of data and predict what should happen next. They aren't actually databases of pure facts.
Oh, I was reading the article on why AI can't say, I don't know. And it blew my mind.
It's a really important piece.
It is. These models are designed to be extremely helpful and confident, right? But they want to be helpful so badly that if they don't have the data, they just make things up. They hallucinate.
And they deliver those hallucinations with absolute 100% confidence.
Which is terrifying.
It really is. So if you don't have AI literacy, if you don't understand how the machine is getting its answers, you won't know when it's lying to you.
So what does this all mean for the human leader? It sounds like they're less of a star player on the field and more of a referee.
A referee, I like that.
Yeah, like if the AI is a confident liar, the leader's new job is simply knowing when to blow the whistle.
That's a great way to put it. And it brings up the concept of ethical stewardship.
Ethical stewardship. What does that involve?
Well, AI is built to optimize. It wants to make everything as fast, cheap, and efficient as possible. But maximum efficiency isn't always good for human beings.
Right. Humans aren't machines. We need breaks.
Exactly. For example, an algorithm might realize that a certain group of employees works, say, 2% faster,
Okay.
and suddenly starts giving all the good shifts to that one group. It completely ignores diversity or fairness or, team morale.
So the referee has to step in and set boundaries.
Right. The gap between cold mathematical calculation and actual human care, that is where leadership lives now. A human leader has to test the AI's logic.
They can't just blindly trust it.
Never. They need to look at a problem through multiple independent lenses. If a mistake is low risk, like writing a first draft of a meeting agenda, maybe you let the AI handle it.
Sure, no one gets hurt if an agenda has a typo.
Exactly. But if the decision could hurt an employee's career or cause burnout, the human steward has to take the whistle and stop the play. Empathy and moral imagination are things the machine simply doesn't have.
Okay, so the leader is busy refereeing the AI, protecting the team from algorithms that push too hard. But let's look at the human side of this.
The human side is just as complex, if not more.
I bet. How do you manage a human workforce that's completely stressed out by all these rapid changes?
Well, there's a lot of tension in the workplace right now,
Oh.
especially between different generations of workers. The Digital Culture article talks about a big divide between um, linear employees and transient employees.
The linear ones being the older workers, maybe the
Mhm.
senior managers.
Yes, usually. They prefer stability, they climb the corporate ladder one step at a time, and they like predictable systems.
While the transient or spiral employees are usually younger.
Right. They're highly adaptable, very tech savvy, and they move around a lot between different roles or even different companies.
And they know how to use AI naturally,
Exactly, but they often feel overlooked by the older senior leaders.
which creates a huge conflict. I mean, the linear workers want to hold on to the old systems because it feels safe. And the transient workers know the old systems are completely useless in an AI-driven world.
This internal conflict is what separates the slow companies from the agile ones.
Yeah.
Slow companies deny that the world has changed. They rely on their past victories.
They want to plan everything perfectly before making a single move.
Right, which takes too long now. But the agile companies know the post-AI world is full of constant surprises. They embrace continuous transformation.
So they have to change how they operate.
Totally. To survive, companies are having to shift from a rigid, top-down system, a bureaucracy, to something that feels more like a society.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. It's like the difference between a traditional theater play and an improv comedy show.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Thanks. In the past, the manager was a theater director. They handed everyone a script, and the employees just read their lines exactly as written. If you changed the script, you got in trouble.
But you can't write a script for a business environment that changes every single week.
Exactly. So now, leaders have to teach their teams how to do improv comedy. They have to teach them how to adapt, how to listen to each other, and how to create something completely new on the spot.
Yes, that's exactly what an agile society looks like.
But wait, how do you actually teach an old-school, linear team to do improv? Most people are terrified of looking foolish or losing control.
That's why transformation is a specific skill now. In an improv show, the #1 rule is yes and.
Right, you have to accept what your partner gives you and build on it.
Exactly. In a corporate setting, a leader teaches this by building alliances. They don't just hand down orders from the top of the pyramid anymore.
So it's more about teamwork.
Much more. They create an environment where employees feel like members of a shared community. They encourage people to take voluntary responsibility rather than just doing what a boss told them to do.
But if everyone is just adapting and doing their own thing without a script, how do you stop this improv society from turning into total chaos?
That is the million-dollar question. You need two deeply human anchors, things AI cannot replicate.
Okay, what are they?
The first is cultivating purpose, and the second is creating psychological safety.
Let's dig into purpose first. One of the articles breaks purpose down into 3 dimensions: head, heart, and hands. Explain how those 3 actually work together.
Sure. The head is strategic clarity. The mission has to make logical business sense.
Makes sense.
The heart is the emotional connection. It has to make people feel like they're doing something good. And the hands represent practical execution. It's the actual daily work you do to achieve the mission.
You know, I was reading about a real-world example of this, a Spanish yogurt maker called La Figueira.
Oh, yes, that's a brilliant case study.
The founder was actually a psychologist. He wanted to provide meaningful, dignified work for people with mental disabilities. That was his inside-out purpose.
And making yogurt was just the practical way to do it.
Exactly. The social mission was the core driver. It was all head, heart, and hands working together.
Best Buy is another great example.
The electronics store.
Yeah. When Hubert Joly took over as CEO, the retailer was really struggling. But he turned the company around by focusing purely on happiness.
Happiness, not sales.
Right. He connected the employees' daily tasks, their hands, to the happiness of the customers. When people see how their work actively improves someone's life, their motivation becomes deeply emotional, not just financial.
Wow. So purpose keeps everyone moving in the same direction.
Yeah.
But what about psychological safety? I hear that phrase a lot, but is it just a corporate buzzword?
A lot of people think it is, but it's actually very specific. And it's not some deep, permanent culture that takes years to build. Psychological safety is a day-to-day climate.
The climate, what do you mean by that?
It's literally how it feels to sit in a room with your team on a Tuesday morning.
Okay, so what does that climate actually look like in practice?
It comes down to a few key actions. 2 of the most important are learning from mistakes and speaking up.
So not punishing people for failing.
Exactly. In a traditional bureaucracy, if you make a mistake, you hide it so you don't get fired. In a psychologically safe climate, mistakes are openly discussed as data points. The leader actually rewards people for bringing failures to the table quickly.
Which connects to speaking up. Like, if I'm a junior employee and I notice that our new AI tool is biased or making errors,
Yes.
I need to feel completely safe raising my hand and saying, hey, this machine is wrong, without a senior manager telling me to be quiet and get back to work.
And that answers the question of how you measure safety. You don't measure it with a spreadsheet. You measure it by the lack of fear in the room.
Are people debating ideas passionately without getting personally angry?
Exactly. Are the quietest people in the room being invited to share their thoughts?
And on a bigger scale, companies are using external frameworks to prove they aren't just faking it, right?
Yes, to prove the purpose and safety are real.
Things like ESG criteria, environmental, social, and governance, or becoming a certified B Corp. These are rigorous third-party audits that prove a company's hands are actually matching their head and heart.
It proves they're actually doing what they promise.
So let's zoom out for a second. We have a leader who acts as an ethical referee for AI. They've built an agile improv-style team. They've anchored that team with deep purpose and a climate without fear.
Right. They've built a strong foundation.
But now they face their final challenge. They have to navigate a completely new economic reality.
And this is where things get really wild.
This part totally shifts how we think about business budgets. The technology is moving from being assistive to being agentic.
Let's make sure that distinction is really clear for you.
Yeah. Assistive software is just a tool. Think of a word processor. It helps me type faster, but I still have to do the typing.
Right. You are doing the work.
But agentic software is an agent. It executes the entire task from start to finish without me.
And because the software is doing the actual work, the companies making the software are changing how they sell it.
This was fascinating in the article. There's a customer service software company called Intercom. They created an AI agent. But instead of charging a company a flat monthly fee to use the software, Intercom charges 99 cents for every single customer problem the AI successfully resolves.
It's a system of action, not just a system of record.
Yes. Think about the implications of that.
If you're paying for the work done, instead of paying for a software license, you're entering a new world of digital labor economics.
Right. I'm no longer comparing the cost of one software tool against another software tool. I'm literally comparing the 99-cent cost of a digital worker against the hourly wage of my human worker.
Exactly.
That fundamentally changes how a leader manages a budget and plans for the future.
It's incredibly complex. The future leader has to orchestrate a hybrid workforce. They have to balance human ingenuity with AI efficiency.
And to do that, they need the skill of strategic foresight.
Yes. They have to be able to look ahead and predict what's coming.
But how can anyone forecast a hybrid workforce when the technology changes every month?
Well, they use the technology to see the future. They use tools like digital twins.
Digital twins, like a clone.
Sort of. A digital twin is a highly detailed virtual copy of your real-world business. Let's look at the Ford Motor Company during the 2021 semiconductor crisis. They couldn't get the computer chips they needed for their cars.
That was a huge problem for the whole auto industry. So what did Ford do?
Well, they built a digital twin of their entire supply chain.
A virtual version of all their factories and parts.
Yes. Instead of guessing how to solve the problem, they ran simulations in the computer. They could test different part shortages and try out different solutions virtually before making any real-world decisions.
Wow. So they could foresee the impact of their choices without risking any actual money?
Exactly. Dave Ulrich, an HR researcher, talks about this progression in how we use technology. He outlines different waves, moving from simple things like AI giving us access to information, all the way to AI creating genuine impact.
Access, assist, inform, guide, and impact. Let's focus on that gap between assisting and impact.
Sure. Assisting is when an HR manager asks AI to help write a job description. That's helpful, but it's just a time saver.
So what does impact look like?
Impact is when the leader uses AI to analyze communication patterns across the company, and the AI predicts which specific department is at the highest risk of burnout next month.
Oh, wow, before anyone actually quits.
Right. The leader can then intervene before the burnout actually happens. That is strategic foresight.
Okay, we've covered a massive amount of ground today. Let's do exactly what we promised and summarize the core takeaways for you, our listener.
Sounds good.
We started by asking what skills the future leader will need. And, well, we've built a very clear toolkit. Let's go through the 4 big ones.
First, they need AI literacy and ethical stewardship.
Right. They have to understand how the machines think, knowing that they are pattern matchers, not truth tellers. The leader must be the referee who sets boundaries and protects the human workforce.
Second, they need the ability to build an agile digital society.
The old rigid pyramids don't work anymore. Leaders have to teach linear and transient workers how to collaborate like an improv comedy group, adapting constantly without a script.
Third, they must master the deepest human soft skills.
So true. They have to anchor their teams by inspiring real purpose, connecting the head, the heart, and the hands.
And they must maintain a daily climate of psychological safety where people can speak up, report mistakes, and debate without fear.
And finally, number 4, strategic foresight.
Leaders have to understand the new economics of agentic software, where businesses pay per task, not per user.
They'll use tools like digital twins to run simulations and orchestrate a perfectly balanced team of human minds and digital labor.
You know, when you lay all 4 of those skills out on the table, a really striking pattern emerges.
It's almost ironic, isn't it?
It really is.
Technology is advancing faster than ever, taking over more and more technical tasks. But the most valuable leadership skills aren't becoming more robotic or technical. They're becoming profoundly more human.
Empathy, ethical judgment, creating safety, finding meaning.
Right. The AI can process the data and do the math, but it simply cannot care about the team.
The machine provides the optimization, but the human must provide the context and the meaning.
Which leaves us with one final provocative thought for you to ponder. We started this deep dive by picturing a workplace where AI takes over the daily tasks of scheduling, budgeting, and performance reviews.
That's daily grind, basically.
Yeah. If the AI eventually handles all the daily mechanical management of the workplace, does the job title of manager eventually disappear entirely?
It's a huge shift to think about.
Will the future only have leaders who guide the ethics and the vision, and makers who do the creative human work? And if the traditional middle manager vanishes, which one are you?
That's the exact question everyone needs to be asking themselves right now. Are you a leader or a maker?
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning, keep learning, and we'll see you next time.
Let's recap 4 key skills for future leaders. Understand AI. Build flexible teams. Create safety at work. And plan ahead. Which skill is hardest for you? Write your answer in the comments. And thanks for watching. See you next time.